I think it's Wednesday afternoon. Wednesday, yeah.
It is
And what we're
Wednesday.
talking today about is like if you're working on something you really care about, and it's like it's not coming through, and the theme of the right thing at the wrong time is still the wrong thing. So a not yet, maybe different. And Magdalena's got a lot of experience in this, listening to the whispers and the tea leaves and the cards, and for me as well. Like when it feels hard, there's a particular kind of hard where like I just got to go through the birthing pains, but there's another kind of hard. It's like this isn't aligned. So we're going to talk about the difference between that today with some great stories. And Magdalena, thanks for being here.
Yes, I'm happy to be here once again on another Wednesday. Yeah, so what I wanted to say is that how I like to describe it is that we have like our own timing. So it's like the timing of the mind, of the invented schedules that we live by. And then there's God's timing, which is more like the timing of the heart, where we just kind of follow our inner wisdom to know what to do, when to do it. And sometimes it doesn't even really make sense in our mind of why we're doing something at any given moment until we look back at it. And then we're like, oh, that's why I was doing that. That all makes sense. I'm glad I went with what my soul was pulling me to do rather than what my mind was getting me to do. Because if I didn't listen to that, things wouldn't have worked out as well. I wouldn't be in the same successful position as I am now
Yeah.
had I listened to what the mind was wanting to like force upon me versus listening to the inner guidance of the soul and the heart and our desires.
I can't agree more with that. I've jumped out of airplanes a handful of times at night, and the scariest jump that I've ever made was from here, using the logos, the mind, and like trust falling into the heart. And I did some work today with the next level coach. And the journey was getting back into the heart. It's really, really easy right now, especially with the disinformation, misinformation, to be confused here. But yet, if it doesn't feel right, it isn't. I can't stress the amount of intelligence that the heart has. Like the people that you're attracted to, the things that turn you on, business wise, exercise wise, like the body knows in a way that it's 1,000% more effective than anything I can think. But the
Yeah.
whole world teaches us it's in the mind. It's not. Like Tony Robbins makes $12 billion a year. That's what he does, and it's in the mind. But he's migrating to the grandfatherly heart energy, like the way that he loved Alex Ramosi.
Yeah, and the heart actually it has its own neuronal complex, kind of like the brain, how we have neurons firing in the brain. We also have neurons in the heart. And there's over 40,000 connections in the heart, which is even more than in the brain. And the heart receives information faster than the brain by like milliseconds. So it first goes into, they've done studies on this, it first goes into the heart and then into the brain. We could do a whole talk one time about the heart and its mechanism and how it's not a pump like what we've been taught, but we'll leave that for another time. Yeah.
Yeah, I got to spend some time with Bruce Cryer. So he discovered heart math, the
Mm.
heart brain coherence, and so the top down, like I said, is only 20%. 90% is the somatics, the way the body has, like I said, 1,000% more influence on how am I being in the world than any of my thoughts. So what does that mean, right? So if I'm feeling stressed, like the world is out to get me, I was listening to Chase Hughes, the Behavior Alps manual. He's all over YouTube, former CIA, and he was talking about the Maya and how the eyes aren't cameras; they're projectors. So the very state that I'm in, the body plays a movie to fit the way that I'm showing up into the world. This is some kind of next level Jedi quantum mechanics stuff. This is what the science is showing, that every ancient religion and Native American peoples, they knew this. So we're talking about timing. And if it doesn't feel right, it isn't. So Magdalena, maybe talk a little bit about what happened like over Christmas, New Year's. You were excited. We were working on these projects together. You have your own stuff going on, and you couldn't.
I couldn't. Yeah. So this has happened many times in my life where I had motivation in my mind. I had certain plans, very specific plans, very big plans, and they would all get squandered by me getting sick. And every time it was so happens that it was a lung condition. So this last time I got the terrible flu, the one that's been going around, and I was out for 3 weeks. Rather than going full force with my business, which was my plan, I ended up lying in bed in pain, being delirious, almost astral projecting because I was in so much pain, and just resting. And in the beginning, my mind was like, "What the heck? Like, I shouldn't be sick right now. This wasn't in the plan." But that's what was happening. My body always trumps my mind. So I was forced to rest. And as I was resting, what started showing up was, and like this inner voice saying, just trust this, trust the timing, and don't like rush the healing process. Just be in it as long as it takes. Because in the beginning, when I got sick, I was like, fine, I'll be sick for 3 days, but that's it. And then it was like a week. And then it was going into a week and a half. And then finally, I just surrendered, being like, all right, if I have to be sick 6 weeks or 8 weeks, it's okay if that's what's meant to happen. Yeah. I ended up being sick only 3 weeks. But in that time, what was showing up for me was actually that I was clearing remnants of ancestral trauma that I've actually been working on for a very long time, clearing, healing, doing all the work. And that was very strongly showing up in my space. And through the cough, I know that the lungs are connected to grief. I was coughing out the grief that my family endured, even the grief that Poland endured as an entire nation, of what happened when Poland was in the war, how it even ceased to exist for like almost 100 years, I think it was, because of all the partitioning that happened. So all the difficult challenges that the place I come from, endured. Anyway, I felt like I was like coughing that out. And I remember, Brian, you would even say to me when I was coughing on the phone so loud, you're like, you're coughing out scarcity mentality. And I'm like, yeah, that is what it feels like. And I actually really needed that rest time to get rid of all this like energy that I was carrying. And now I feel so much lighter energetically. I feel like my ancestors even received some kind of healing on the soul level as I was doing that.
Yeah.
I also had an instinct to send them these balls of golden light to like help them if there's any remnants of healing they need, even the people that have passed away. So it was a really like powerful time, and I'm so glad it happened. And I'm not unfortunately, it happened through my body being sick, and yet so much has shifted for me energetically. And now I feel kind of like a new person in some ways, like really fresh energy, and a lot of amazing things have happened in the physical world for me since that time.
Amazing. As you were telling me that earlier today, and this is important, we talk about this.
Yeah.
I can't force things anymore. And the times that I do force, where it's out of alignment, I get like an hour of that. Where like I spent years forcing marriages and careers and stuff that was just not aligned.
Mhm.
And every time I had a vacation, and every winter, twice, I would get really bad bronchitis. It would come on the same way. Postnasal drip, terrible sore throat, and then I would cough for the next 3 weeks. Healthy guy. I didn't understand it, and it was so bad. It was so bad that like when I was in high school and college, they were like Muka, right? That was my whole name. Like there was a hack and Muka. Like that's how my friends knew that I was in the area. And the coughing was horrible.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't understand. Like I was actually like legit scared that I would die of like pneumonia or something. And I got this every year, sometimes twice. This last year, I didn't get it. The sore throat came on. It came on twice. It didn't happen. And we've done so much work. So like Carl Jung individuating, like actually sewing the shadow back on. Not pretending the shadow doesn't exist, but like how can I embrace it? And Magdalena brought up a great point today. I'm just going to tie this into some of the biology. So the ancestral trauma, just go 3 generations upstream. So like if what the science is showing is that if I was subject to like Agent Orange, I would have an effect. It would have more of effect on my kids, and it would have the greatest effect actually genetically on my grandkids. The same is true with ancestral trauma, right? So if I'm adding power to my helicopter engine and I'm not going faster, I'm going to burn the engine out. Like this is really important that we get this because burnout's real. And I remember my first year in medical sales, my favorite distributor was like, "You need to slow the fuck down." Like, why? He goes, "Burnout's real." I'm like, "Dude, I'm a special operations guy. I got it." And then I got sick, and then I was burnt out. And he was graceful enough not to say, "I told you so," but I can't burn the candle on every end. And so this is the whole tie-in with like flow state Saturdays when I can find my love and my joy and I'm moving towards things. By the way, that was the advice for Alex Hermosi with Tony Robbins, right? $100,000 coaching session. Find joy in your life and then let the joy pull you to it. So if I'm getting sick a lot, it could be that. It could be I'm out of alignment, but it also could be that there were things generationally that are impregnated in my DNA that I get to clear for my whole family. And so like, what an honor.
Yes, and if you feel like you were chosen to do that, then exactly, feel honored. There's two things I wanted to say. So one is about the studies they do on trauma and how it's passed on genetically. So my mom was telling me this morning. They did studies on rats where they would basically like torture them. Sorry, rats, and sorry, animal lovers, but I guess they would torture these rats or do something that would make them feel really awful.
Yep.
And they would play a certain kind of music while they did that. Then after these rats had their offspring and they passed away, they did studies on their offspring. And when they would play that same music, all they did was play the music, the rats of the tortured rats had the exact same reaction to the music as their parents. And this happened for 4 generations down. So 4 generations forward, if you played that music for those rats, they would have the same negative reaction, even without any pain being inflicted on them. I guess pain is the word, not necessarily torture, but anyway, same thing. Yeah, anyway, so like that's how much something can, so if you feel triggered by something and it doesn't make sense, it could be that your ancestor experienced something where that actually triggered that experience. And so you feel it so strongly and you might think like, this is so weird, I'm overreacting, what's wrong with me? I'm just going to say nothing's wrong with you. You might just be carrying some ancestral trauma in your genes and your DNA. But the good news is that through epigenetics, you can transform that. It's not like we're stuck with that. We do get to clear it. I forgot the other thing I was going to say.
Right. So metaphor time. It's like driving around with the brakes on. How come I'm not getting to Florida faster or the Caribbean? Now my plane won't take off. All right, cool. I must suck. I'm not saying that out loud, subconscious mind. Please negate that just for training purposes. It's not an I'm a failure thing. Like this thing failed. Why? I did everything I knew how to do. Okay, cool. So what are my shadow beliefs that are still operating? What are the things that I learned between the ages of 0 and 8 or 12, depending on the model? The times that I'm in alpha or theta hypnosis and being conditioned to be a human that contributes to my particular community. I don't think there's a way to get through that without some trauma. And if you're a high achiever, typically it's like, I don't have the resources. It's my fault. I'll fix it. You can't. So for me, when I was 2 weeks old, I was born, and 2 weeks later, my birth weight was less. And the pediatrician's like, talking to my dad. He's like, "Hey, John, are you feeding this kid?" "Yeah, why?" "He's lighter. That's weird." He's like, "I'm feeding him every 4 hours, like you said." And he's like, no. What I said was at least every 4. He's hungry. So I was also dubbed a crying Brian when I was a wee lad. But the Roger that, sir, I'll fix it. This turned on my superpowers. I'm a super empath. I can feel what you feel. I had to. And then like I would take responsibility for things that weren't mine to take responsibility for. In some scenarios when it's healthy, that's really powerful. but I'd end up carrying the weight for things that weren't mine to carry.
Mhm.
So the quite literally dragging a sea anchor around and wondering like, how come I'm not getting here faster? I hadn't cleared my own trauma.
I ain't.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's such a great analogy.
And
And
it's
it
hard.
actually
It's hard to work through that alone. It's scary. It's scary going under the bed. It's scary facing the shadow. And for years, 42 years old on paper, mitochondrially, I'm much younger. But it took me a long time and a lot of years of doing this work to like finally go out of under the bed, into the closets, all the scary places, and put some left, right parameters over this particular fear, this fear loop. And what started all this was I was listening to a thing from Bashar earlier today or yesterday that if I try a particular thing and this like I notice like it's 11:11 or 12:34 and 56 seconds or whatever the time period is, the synchronicities go up. Oh, I'm on the path. And the other part of this divine timing is if I try something and they go away and it feels lonely and it's not fun, it could be a birthing process. But like, how long am I going to go through the birthing process? I don't know. It could be I'm on the wrong path. The ladder's on the wrong wall, And
I
Magdalena
find,
is so
yeah.
good at finding flow in life. If it's not aligned, it doesn't happen.
Yeah, for me, it's a pretty instant feeling of like, it's not that everything in flow state is easy per se, but in some way it feels effortless. Like I still use my brain. If it's like a workout I'm doing, I still use my muscles, but it doesn't feel like suffering or like painful.
Drudgery.
Drudgery. Yeah. Whereas when I'm like on the wrong path, it just doesn't like, I feel very much too much energy in my mind and I feel this like anxiety and tension.
Yeah.
When I'm in flow and doing what feels aligned, it just comes natural and like, yeah, like I said, it's effortless. And so the other thing I wanted to say that you reminded me of when you were talking is it seems like we put ourselves on these timelines. Like we create these timelines for ourselves that we take from the ethers, or rather we're conditioned to obey by because of our society. And then when we're not on that timeline of like, I'm gonna, whatever, be married by 30, have children by 35, make $1 million by 40, whatever your timeline is, when you don't go by that, you start to feel frustrated. But life is so not linear, and the timelines are invented by our minds. So if you can surrender your timeline, and again, if you get sick for 3 weeks, allow yourself to be sick for 3 weeks. Like just go with what's happening and trust that life is doing, that everything is happening in your favor and that you're okay. Like all is well, no matter how crappy the situation in the moment may feel like. So just releasing that basically pressure that we create. No one's, well, you might think, well, my boss is creating that pressure or somebody, but ultimately we actually do have a choice. When you really look deep and go within, there's always a choice. So yeah.
I love that. And two things. First, if I'm feeling anxious in the future,
Mm-hmm.
and if I'm feeling depressed or shame or guilt, I'm in the past.
Mm-hmm.
But if I can be now, no matter what's happening on the outside, and I've been tested, so have you, if you're listening to this, peace be with you. Like peace in the storm. The storm is a creation. It's a story that I've made up that we're all going to die. Like if I distill the fear down, like, hey, this project's not going to work out, and then I'm going to get fired, and then I'm going to get divorced, and then I'm going to live on the street, and then I'm going to die. Pretty unlikely, right? So I need to put some limits on it. What's true in this moment? I'm talking with a good friend of mine. Then we got some cool technology. Bring this to you right now. Great. And, I'm grateful for the people watching this or that will watch this. So how can I be grateful for what I already have? And whatever I'm grateful for, I get more of. So if shift is hitting the fan, And I may not know if I'm on the right timeline or doing the right thing or whatever. I'm discerning that the right thing or the wrong thing, like the same loop done with a different awareness is a different thing. So just taking
Mhm.
the space to discern, am I climbing the right mountain right now? Because it's a long climb. And
Mhm.
I want to bring this home that when I do something, like I have it right now, like setting up the plumbing for this live is not fun for me. It's a different part of the brain. I don't get to play yet.
Mhm.
It's like hauling the sand to the beach so that I could make like a beautiful sandcastle. I like making sandcastles, but I don't really like carrying the sandbags, if it makes sense. If I do a
I love
thing,
your analogies.
thank you. And if I
Mhm.
do a thing and it makes me energy, keep doing that. If I do a thing and it sucks all of the energy out of the room, or like I spent an hour with somebody, I want to feel recharged after that. There was a mutual exchange. 1 + 1 is 11. And if I spend somebody time with somebody that's like soul sucking, I either let a boundary get passed or like I'm not supposed to hang out with this person anymore. Like we don't resonate with each other, or there's no
Mhm.
coherence. So the energetic test of like, do I have more energy having done this thing? It's a good flow indicator.
100%. And going back to the present is like what's happening now. Another way to get present is through the breath and just through awareness of your body. Rather than being up in here in the ethers, if you can just like ground down and settle physically into your body, then you can listen with your whole being rather than just with your mind.
Mm,
And I was going to ask you, Brian, if you want, I can share my poem before we wrap up. It's called From the Head to the Heart.
I
And it's
love that.
actually the journey from my head to the heart. And it
Yeah,
was
I
a
love
poem
it.
I wrote in 2019, I guess, right before COVID happened, was when like a big transformation happened for me. So you can talk for a moment and I will find that poem.
Yeah. So as we're doing that, the most courageous journey for most of us. So I can only speak for men. This may like come factory default for women. It's said that you are closer to divinity than we are. The work I do with men is like, how do I get below my chin? This is useful. I'm not telling you to
Mhm.
get rid of the mind, the brain, the thinking. It's useful. Uh, but I'm leaving so much on the table, having not taken the trust fall to start to trust my intuition, my gut. There's men that I work with. They're like, that's woo. Okay. Well, it's also quantum mechanics. And do you ever not trust your gut? Yeah. Why are you laughing? I knew why. My business partner fucked me over to the tune of 17 million. He's like, probably should listen.
That's a shitty tune.
The opposite is true too, right? So like when the heart swells, like
Mhm.
that's what a fuck yes is. And
Mhm.
if I want to have a life, like if I want to have a fuck yes life, all I have to do is ride the heart swell of the fuck yeses.
Yeah, one after the other after the other. Mhm.
So listening to your poem, it's a fuck yes.
Nice. I like how you say when the shift hits the fan, but then you say fuck yes.
Well, yeah, it's not just shit, right? It's like it's a
Oh,
challenge and
you
I'm
mean shit.
shifting,
Oh, okay.
right? So
Okay.
I'm reframing when shit hits it's not just shit. It's an
I see.
opportunity for
Mhm.
greatness. Opportunity isn't obvious usually. It usually has work clothes on.
I like that I clarified that. Cool. I see. I see. It was very like not meant to just not swear. It was actually the word shift.
I don't have a problem with swearing.
Yeah, I love that. Good. I was like, why is he censoring himself? This is weird.
All right, so we're gonna listen to some art and some flow. And so if you're watching this right now, I just invite you to close your eyes. Don't do that if you're driving. If you're not driving, just close your eyes for a second and just feel your feet. These feet that I take for granted, these feet that allow me to move through earth, these feet that have carried me through some really dark times, and the same feet that have propelled me up these incredible vistas. And just feel your feet. They're the furthest thing from your heart, and they are the most honest thing on my body. Where do my feet point? And just take a deep breath in and just drop the breath. I'll do 2 more of those. Breathe in again. And let it go. And one more. So I'll take some time. It's just 3 breaths. Changes everything.
Feels so good. Your breaths are nice and long. It takes me so short to get to the top of my breath, and you're still like, oh, maybe through the mouth it feels longer.
I'm just sipping.
That feels cool.
Yeah, there's Magdalena and I have done a lot of breath work and energy work together.
Yeah.
And every time I do breath work for myself, I discover something new. So what I discovered new in that was her discovery of something new, of something I forgot from the beginning of my relationship with my breath.
My friend would say, take a hoot of the Holy Spirit.
A hoot?
And I say, take a hoot of the good ass prana.
Good ass prana. Look at those pearly white teeth.
Yeah, I made my own toothpaste. You know it.
Oh, that little teaser for what's to come.
Nice, right?
Yeah, heart health. On the other side of taking care of the mouth.
It's all connected.
The floor is yours.
I'll say one more thing before I dive into the poem. Brian taught me this because I read my poem one time and Brian and Dr. Jake were on the call and it was all cool. But then we did something different when Brian and Dr. Jake, for the second round of me reading, they like did some breathing, synchronized breathing, not synchronized swimming. And they just they connect like now they just connected to themselves and they just, settle down. I encourage you to do that when you're watching someone sing or like witnessing someone dance or say like spoken word. It actually shifted my energy a lot. So having that space, that calm, nervous system regulated space was pretty powerful for me. And it actually made me slow down naturally. So if you want to do that for somebody, just do it. Even if you're like watching in a crowd, but you just tune to them and to your own breath. It's kind of cool what kind of a space opens up and how you can actually experience that better. And even the performer will experience his or her own creation better. Yeah, so it's pretty cool how it works.
I'm going to share a Jedi trick with you right now. So wherever you are, posture, right? So just imagine that the spine, when I'm in my prison and my inner monologue is saying very mean things to me, it's because my spine was in this shape first. My antenna to the creator was kinked. So just bring your shoulders back and pull backwards and look up. And then just tilt the head forward until the skull rests right there. Oh my God. It's bliss. When the atlas aligns, I remember my everlasting life, my connection to all things.
Let the kundalini rise, right? The spinal fluid starts to flow and then you get into a state of flow. So just a good posture is a great way to get into flow state. So easy.
And people notice.
Things are free. What's that?
People notice those that have a good spinal alignment. It's good for me. It's also good for the group. Like, oh yeah, I am proud of myself and I am connected to source at all times. They ever feel funky? Fix the spine.
100%. All right, ready?
Always ready.
Okay, so this is the poem I wrote in 2019, and it's called My Year, From the Head to the Heart. This is my year of deep healing, of shifting from overthinking to feeling, allowing my inner wisdom to guide me and my spirit to set me free from the constraints of skewed perceptions, faulty neuronal connections. My supernatural healing lies within me and is simultaneously bestowed upon me by the gracious, ever-loving, ever-knowing source, the one that created me through a mysterious, miraculous, magnificent force. All I must do is let go and trust. Into the ocean of surrender, my own will I thrust. It's my time to go from the head to the heart, because quite frankly, life is too short. Now is the time, and surrender is the way. That quiet, gentle voice I am called to obey. The one that gives me the delicate nudges and hunches and urges. And when I act on them, even while doubting, what always emerges is exactly what I need at just the right time. Opportunities I could have never imagined with my own limited mind. As I recalibrate and realign, I also realize and redesign old thought patterns that no longer serve me because 2019 is the year that I am set free. The end.
And so it is.
And so it is. So if you relate to this poem, take it for yourself. Free yourself by going from the head to the heart.
You already know. You already know the way because it feels good. You know, it's like that. I don't know another word for this, but exquisiteness of life. The pura vida, and it's like there's a choice,
Yeah.
right, to continue into the way that we were taught. I call it the smallpox blanket. It's comfortable, but it'll kill you. And then there's the like, all right, a pirate's life for me. And I've been studying a lot with Carl Jung. And so when people get to know themselves, the first thing they're met with is the shadow. And it's a narrow, painful gate. It gets worse before it gets better in this. And it's a rebirthing process. It's like a dying. It's not for the faint of heart. Some days I'm on the other side, some days I'm not. And it's just wonderful to come into poetry and breath and community. You don't have to do this alone. For the generations before us, the people that distilled this wisdom, this remembering, they were alone. And we don't have to do that anymore. You still got to run your own show, and you got to run your own race, but we get to run that race together. So if that's interesting to you, we'll be taking applications for our school community. In the interim, if you want to play in this space, 9 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Mountain Standard, come hang out in my Zoom room. It's called the Dojo. It's for weirdos and world changers. So my gift to you, if you're listening to this and you want to dig a little deeper.
And if you want to join us for Flow State Saturdays, every Saturday at noon Mountain Time and 2 p.m. Eastern Time and 11 Pacific Time a.m., we're doing these sessions with another fellow friend of ours named Dr. Jake Felice. He's a naturopathic doctor. He's really versed in flow state, the science of it. So it's always really awesome conversations. Last time we talked about the dopamine cycle and how to regulate our dopamine levels, which is super important in our society these days when we're being hijacked by technology and our phones that like really dysregulate our nervous systems and mess up our dopamine levels. And this week we're talking about sleep. So sleep hacks, how to get really good, restorative, supportive sleep, how to fall asleep faster, how to stay asleep, like all these hacks that we're going to be sharing this Saturday. So if you guys can join, that would be awesome. You can come
20 years of insomnia for me, middle of the night insomnia. I learned this backwards and forwards and upside down. And if you want to make your day slippery instead of grindy, a great day starts with a great night's sleep.
Sure does. Yeah.
And if I could put into pill form these two things, the most effective, I'm gonna say three things.
Pill form, pun intended or not intended?
Yeah, pun intended. Yep. I would pill a great night's sleep, but it's not available in pill form. My 28-year-old self is now going to punch me squarely in the face. Walking is amazing. And if you're like, yeah, right. Okay. Like there's just something about moving through space and rocking the spine back and forth. And if it's not hard enough for you, just add some weight. A kettlebell, a sandbag, it gets interesting really, really fast.
Did you say rocking or walking or both?
Walking. Yeah, rocking the spine back and forth. It's probably the best thing for spine health is learning how to flow in your walk.
Snaking.
And just like walk through the day. My favorite way to work through trauma is to go for a walk with the person I'm walking with. Usually that's me. Walk with myself. And then the third pill would be joy. Joy bends gravity and time. And
Yeah,
so
stress is definitely a sleep killer.
the billionaires in the world, like Tony Robbins and Oprah, like these are the levers that they are using. You can use it too. That's the whole point of this whole show, is how do we make these things accessible to you? And you find the blend between the warrior and the Jedi. Like, where in that continuum are you? I want to be right in the middle, the warrior and the Jedi. And so it's great working with Magdalena because I get to play Jedi on TV and like really dig into the quantum mechanics and the metaphysical stuff. And then, with my men's work, we start usually a little more towards the warrior and then put the spirituality of the quantum mechanics, whatever language you like, and look around the corner. Great show today. Remember to listen. If it feels hard, it could be because you're birthing something. But if it feels like it's sucking energy out of the system and it's not energetic and the synchronicities go away, something to look at. The heart knows the way to carry the sleigh. Listen.
Sure does. Listen to the heart. It never fails.
All right, kids, reach out with questions. I say kids not from like a hierarchical part, but like pirates, kids. They just know how to be. I just want to remember how to be 5 again.
Together.
I just wanted to learn how to be 5 with like $100 million in my bank. That would be amazing. Be outrageous. Yep.
LSD, laughter, singing, and dancing.
It's the cure for all that ails us. It's laughing, singing, and dancing.
Yes.
All right, guys. Thank you. Let us know how we can serve you better.
Bye.
Ciao. Bye.